This is the type of video that I would usually put on my second channel, but because of the nature of it, I'm going to have it up on my main channel for a few days just to sort of signal boost it, just to help this guy reach his target. I'll keep it up here for a few days to help the guy out, and then it will get passed over to the second channel. If you want to subscribe to my second channel, the link's in the description. People are getting kicked out of universities now, simply for stating an opinion. This is a young man called Sebastian Walsh, who is a UKIP member, who said a few horrendous, horrible, terrible things while having a discussion in university, and subsequently got kicked out. He got kicked out of his university for expressing an opinion. Fight for freedom of speech in universities. Sebastian Walsh, I'm Sebastian, but my friends call me Seb. I was born in Burnley and now live in Wigan. I was studying for a BA in children's schools and families so I could work in child protection. Very, very noble job. We definitely need more of them. My name is Seb and I'm a first year student at the University of Central Lancashire, UCLan. If you follow any alternative media sites, you may have heard about my recent suspension from UCLan for having a viewpoint they did not agree with. Universities, the places that are supposed to provoke and stoke the flames of thought and discussion, is kicking people out for not thinking the way they want them to. Literally counterproductive to what a university is supposed to be. This suspension is not only preventing me from attending current classes, but also a teaching work placement. This is likely to have a lasting effect on my future career and hopes of working with in child protection. They said, it is likely to be of concern that Sebastian is on a course that could facilitate a career with children, young people and or vulnerable adults. No. I'm not concerned. I don't understand why that's a problem. I mean, when you work in child protection, when you're on the job, you don't really discuss politics. Like, most people that are involved in politics kind of, have that rule. Like, when I was in security, I didn't discuss politics at all. I don't discuss politics at my work, and I don't think you're going to have a deep, philosophical and very accomplished discussion with a 4-year-old. I don't think a 4-year-old's going to be able to provide you with any sort of, very thought-provoking insights into the current economic situation of Eastern China. I don't think you're going to be able to have a good and deep philosophical discussion, with a toddler, is what I'm trying to say. Please help me save my career and make sure universities are a place for open discussion. I need to raise at least £20,000 to fight this in court. I have taken expert legal advice from a barrister and planning to issue a judicial review of the University of Central Lancashire's decision to suspend me for expressing a viewpoint that is contrary to what they consider appropriate. So it's basically, you are out with the groupthink, come back into the fold, be one with the collective, how dare you think differently. And so basically they've possibly fucked this guy's education. Fucked his education and future career prospects because he dared voice something that he finds a concern. See, there's nothing good about it. See, if a significant portion of the population are voicing a concern to you and you ignore them and call them racists and actually, give them a cost to their lives for voicing this opinion, well, that is a recipe for disaster. In a discussion during a class, I said, the UK is being Islamified, halal meat is violent and barbaric, anyone who doesn't have legal status in the UK should not be given free handouts of our services. Reasonable? I find that completely reasonable. As a result of this, some students say, I'm still trying to detect the racism or discrimination or anything, or the bigotry. I'm not seeing it. I'm definitely not seeing it here. As a result of this, some students, including ones who were not even there, I love those people, the ones that are offended on behalf of other people for an experience that they were not even present to experience, filed complaints about me. They claimed that they had been made to feel unsafe and were harassed by my words, which were used in the context of a discussion. That makes absolutely no sense. So they're fucking idiots. I believe myself to be a polite and thoughtful person whose views are informed by fact and reason. I didn't say anything criminal or threatening. That's true, you didn't. But I have shown well-researched concern with the fairness of the benefit system and the practice of ritual slaughter. This has led to the end of my formal education and the beginning of the end of my career in the social care sector. All because he stated an opinion. Universities are supposed to be an environment where young adults can respectfully express their viewpoints and be challenged by the views of others. Yes, that's absolutely what a university is supposed to be. That is what universities are supposed to be doing. Presenting alternative viewpoints, provoking discussion and chat and debate, because those things often lead you to new insights. Maybe you'll change your mind, maybe you'll find new arguments to bolster what you already believe. The good back and forth, like university. See, if everyone in a university thinks the exact same way, then universities are not doing their job. They are not doing their job if everyone has the same opinion. Like, universities are literally supposed to be the melting pot of ideas. See if they send so many differently thinking but intellectual people out into the world. That's what they're supposed to be doing. Diversity of thought is an excellent thing. That's a diversity we can all get behind. But yeah, if every single person at a university thinks the same way, then universities are not doing their job. However, as a result of the above, I was subject to 3 disciplinary hearings. In those hearings, I attempted to get the faculty to see my point of view, but they were determined to tell me my views were unacceptable without further discussion. So in other words, you are wrong, case closed. We're not open for a chat. We're not here to let you say your piece. We're not here to let you explain yourself. Just, there's the door. There's the door. A tutor says that she has... It was written in my report that a tutor says that she has already had discussions with Sebastian about keeping his personal and political beliefs to himself. What an excellent thing to say to someone in a university. My God. Keep your thoughts to yourself. I'm definitely coming down with something. Great. Keep your thoughts to yourself. How dare you try and discuss them out in the open here? What do you think this is, a university? And about setting appropriate boundaries. In other words, censor yourself. Appropriate boundaries, that's just a fancy way of saying censor yourself. That's all that is. Instead of getting a fair hearing, I was accused of harassment. They determine harassment on the following basis. It is not the intention of the alleged harasser that determines whether harassment has occurred, but whether it is considered unacceptable by the complainant, and there it fucking is. There it fucking is. Your personal intent of why you did those actions or why you did those things do not matter. The victim's perception is what matters, and here we are seeing it, not just from the police force, it's now bleeding into universities. It's saying whenever you do an action or say a certain thing, you know what you meant, you know what your intent was, you know what the context was. But it's basically saying that that is now completely irrelevant, that does not count. You don't get to decide what your intent was. The perceived victim, someone who most likely is very, very easily offended and would be quite litigious as far as the university rules go, they get to decide it. Basically, all this is a sneaky way of placing more power into the hands of the easily offended, and that is absolutely fucking terrifying. Because this is the thing, is people always try and blame the easily offended for these types of things, and for the most part they are. However, it is the people who have created such rules which are the biggest risk. Does that mean that I could walk into a university and I could decide diversity and gay marriage is offensive to me? Speaking about such things in the open to me, I consider that to be harassment. I am so offended by those ideas. This person should have their education and future career prospects stripped away from them because I feel harassed. After all, it's my perception that matters. Yeah. That totally isn't going to come back and bite them in the fucking arse one day. Fuck me. So even though I can rationally and calmly defend each point I made on the grounds of statistics and animal welfare, since some students complained, my opinion and intention is irrelevant. Yeah, that's the way they work it now. Your intent, the reason, the actual true reasons, the reality of why you did what you did or said what you said doesn't matter anymore. And that's the way they want it, because see if they actually consider the intent of your actions or speech, then they have no argument, they have no ground to stand on. That's why they've actively went out of their way to create rules that can ignore intent, because if they have to consider the intent, they have no argument. They have no argument, and they've realised that that was one of their weak spots, so the authoritarians managed to find a way to abolish intent. Basically, you don't get to decide your intent. They, the representatives of the state and the fingermen and the snitches, they get to decide your intent. It's sort of the equivalent of the Stasi. Why are you hanging around outside City Hall? I'm just sitting here waiting for a friend. No, you're not. You were planning on going inside and murdering someone. You're an enemy of the state. You're coming with us, boy. But I was waiting on a friend. No, 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 no. You don't get to decide your intent. We get to decide your intent. There's nothing scary about that at all. Fuck me. Furthermore, the university's definition of harassment is not the same as the one used in law. Well, obviously they would have to make up their own one so that it could be applied more generously, often at their whim, often to their benefit. Even so, the report at my second tier hearing concluded, it is clear to me that the students who have complained have all been offended by what Sebastian has said, so fucking what if they were offended? Why does that mean a person should lose their education and career prospects? So people had their feelings hurt, so a young man should basically lose his education and his career prospects. Really, is that justifiable? If that type of thing's justifiable, then why don't we start executing shoplifters? Why not? Like, that's... I mean, if you think that someone having their fifis hurt should qualify ruining someone's life, then why aren't we executing shoplifters? I mean, if we're doing extreme punishments for minor or almost non-offences, then why not apply it everywhere else? Maybe assault should carry torture and the death sentence. Good luck with that one, Antifa. Has said, and that student C has experienced this harassment. It's not harassment. I therefore conclude that Sebastian also breached regulation C1.4 and C1.9 also. You have breached the regulation, citizen. Pick up that can. My barrister says that I have a very strong case to pursue and I'll need initial funding to start the claim and see it through. If I am successful with the judicial review, I will be readmitted to the university with a cleared record, but I know the fight for fair and open discussion won't end there. While I know this is very important to my future, it is bigger than just me. That's very true, the same situation as myself. Across the country, universities will continue their campaign of censorship, deplatforming and vilification. If this is allowed to stand, then only one type of view will be heard. Theirs. That's what they want. That is what they want. Their ideas don't stand up to scrutiny. See how like the old school left, you know, this was back when in the old school atheism days of YouTube, you know, before they broke off and made Atheism Plus and so on. Right, that was, you know, a lot of the people I've noticed, they are atheists, they are against religion, you know, especially in this sphere. And the thing that I find quite funny is, back in the day, you would get atheists that would very often accuse, you know, Christians and so on of engineering things and deplatforming people and all that to make sure that atheists didn't have their voice heard. And back then, the far left used to rail against that. Oh, you're making sure that people only hear your word about God and creationism and all this type of stuff. But now, here they are doing the exact same thing that they would complain at Christians for doing. They're now doing the exact same thing. They're trying to make sure that only one ideology is heard, only one argument is heard, and the reason they would do that is because their ideas simply don't stand up to scrutiny. And this is the thing, is see if I went into an argument and I lost, right, I would then need to reflect on why I lost. I would then need to reflect on what I was arguing for. Was it really a good idea? Is it true? Is it viable? Does it actually have a benefit? Right, and that's the way people should think, but most people, they don't think like that. These people certainly don't think like that. Instead, when they're wrong, they don't acknowledge that their idea is wrong. They go, no, I want my idea to be the idea that we all follow. So even though it can't win in debate, therefore meaning that it's a bad idea, I am instead going to silence others to make sure my idea wins. It's cheating. It's cheating the system. That's literally what it is. You know, it's the same. You know, same as someone going to the Olympics. You know, I came in last in every race. You know, it's not because I'm shit. It's because these people are wrong. It's almost like it's the equivalent of banning everybody from the Olympics so that you're the only person in the race. So you make sure you get that gold medal. That's the equivalent of what this is. The idea Olympics, you obviously will be the victor if you have banned everybody else from fucking competing. Right, it's just a really fucking sneaky way of making sure they win, and it's just absolute utter narcissism, because these people are so prideful and narcissistic that they can't admit that they're wrong. A civilised society cannot allow its academic institutions to determine what is acceptable discourse. That is a matter for the law, and the students of today are the lawmakers of tomorrow. And that's what's fucking scary. The next generation, you know, a good majority of them are authoritarian fucks, and fucking universities have been the boot camp for it. They've taught them that censorship is okay, restricting liberties is okay, censoring speech is okay. Like, that's the way that they've been brought up with this ideology. And they are the next generation. And it's our job to make sure that a good enough chunk of that next generation realise that all of that stuff is shit and authoritarian, and we should get fucking rid of it. This is the thing that makes me fucking laugh about these lefties that want to do like this whole authoritarian takeover. Fascism doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. Authoritarianism comes first. Fascism is born out of authoritarianism. And see, if you look at China, you know, oh, beautiful communist China, yes, realise the Marxist dream and take over, and all the workers of the world unite, and everyone. It's one of the most capitalistic fucking places you've ever seen. There are no health and safety standards for workers. None. Workers fucking work until they either collapse with fatigue on the work floor or they fucking leap off the roof to end it all. And that stemmed from a left-wing takeover. And then you also have fucking the North Korea stemmed from a democratic takeover. And what ended up resulting of that? An ultra-nationalist militaristic state. One might argue that sounds a little bit right-wing. Ultra-nationalism and heavy militarization, yeah, you could probably say that's like right-wing. It is almost like left-wing takeovers kind of may possibly lead to right-wing fascism. I'm just saying. It's fucking ironic that you guys want this. Freedom of speech does not and must not come with the provision that others cannot be offended by what you say. 60 years ago it was considered offensive to suggest that women were equal. Yep, that's true. I know I'm rabbiting on, but see, in regards to free speech, free speech causes hate, free speech causes this, etc, etc, etc. But the thing is, free speech has accomplished some of the massive fucking great things that have happened in history. Civil rights, the women's right to vote, and all that, speaking truth to power, being anti-war, demonstrations, all that type of stuff, making your voices heard. Freedom of speech is an extremely important and powerful tool that has achieved a lot of good in the world. Right? The government shouldn't get to control speech, because ultimately the government is going to control speech that is critical of it, which is its end game, which is what it's trying to do. And the fact that these people want to take it away because, we're so anti-government, fuck the state, fuck Theresa May, but we want to give her the power to censor what we say. Fucking deluded. Like, freedom of speech is an extremely powerful weapon. Extremely powerful weapon, which is why you need to be completely against anyone that's trying to take yours away. Unfortunately, in this case, it's fucking universities. If we didn't say things that may be considered offensive to some, then women wouldn't even have the vote. That's true. This is only one of many examples of progress through questioning the status quo. Pandering to offence is a race to the bottom, because no matter what you say, someone will always find offence in it. Yep, especially in a current year. The cure to extreme views is not suppressing them, it is challenging them and discussing them. That is absolutely true as well. Please help me save my education and stand up for freedom of speech when no one else will. I may not agree with what everyone says, but I will always defend their right to say it. Please help defend mine. Every little helps, so please support me in any way you can. And this is the crowd justice. The boys only raised 525 so far out of 20,000, so if everybody wants to sort of signal boost this, because it would be, even if you don't like UKIP and you don't like Sebastian or anything like that, just how fucking good would it be to stick it to the censors? Like, I want the boy to win, I want him to get his education back, I want him to get his career path back on track, because it is extremely unfair that a young man's getting his life ruined because he dared speak an opinion in a place that's supposed to be the bastion for discussion of alternative viewpoints. It's absolutely fucking vile what they've done to him. I mean, he's a fucking young boy just saying an opinion, and you're trying to fuck his life up because people get offended, people who weren't even present to hear what he said. It's absolutely horrendous. So if anyone that's watching this could signal boost the shit out of this, donate whatever you can to make sure that he gets to where he needs to be. Because him getting a win, not only would it be great for him because he gets his education back, but see, to stick it to these authoritarian fucks, well, that would just be brilliant.